Hey y'all, this is BG Codes and I am bradgarropy. Now recently I converted bradgarropy.com, which is a Remix website, from using the Remix dev server over to the brand new Vite dev server. This is awesome. It is so much faster and the migration was actually pretty easy. So I'm going to kind of jump into the code and show you what I changed to make that happen. First of all, I had been waiting a very long time for Remix to support Vite. And finally, it became stable. I'll link this article in the description below for you guys. And once Vite became stable on Remix, I was also waiting for Vercel to support Remix and Vite. There was a new build output thing that had to be done to make all this work. And again, finally, they became stable with that. That allowed me to migrate my website over. So I'll link this article in the description as well. And of course, I'll link the actual pull request that I did this migration in so that you can see the diff if you want to do this in your own repository. So let's jump into the code. Here we've got my code base, and I started out with package.json. The very first thing I did is go ahead and install Vite as a dependency, specifically a dev dependency. Here it is right here. And then I just updated my scripts. So I have a start script that starts my dev server. You use Vite:dev in this case. And then I updated my build script with Vite:build. That's pretty much all the changes required in package.json. Next up is the actual Vite configuration file. If you use vtest, you're probably pretty familiar with this. But what it comes down to is that in the configuration, Remix is just a Vite plugin. It handles all the building and bundling, the things that you care about. And then to specifically support Vercel, you have to bring in the Vercel Vite plugin. And this does the things that Vercel needs specifically to run Remix. And that comes from this @vercel/remix/Vite package here. Otherwise, this is all pretty similar. Your Remix config that you previously had in a separate file goes away, and you can move all those options into the Remix Vite plugin here. Vite also has some cool configuration options to declare your port and always open a new browser window when you start up the dev server. I find that very helpful. And for sure, don't forget to use this Vite tsconfig paths so that any TypeScript path aliases you've configured also work in your application. Now we probably want to support the types for Vite. In this case, there used to be like a Remix environment declaration file. This time we can just move it over. Instead of using the Remix dev server declarations here, we can use the Vite client declarations and rename this file to env.d.ts. Similarly, we got to go to our ts config and now change the name of that file as well. Instead of remix env.d.ts, it's now just env.d.ts. And if you remember previously, the Remix dev server kind of automatically integrated the Tailwind configuration for you. Now that they've moved over to Vite, you have to configure that separately, which really just means make a postcss.config.js file, include the Tailwind plugin here, export it. And then the final thing that I had to do to get all this working was Vite changes the way that CSS is imported. So in this case, you would import it from a path, but then you have to use this URL specifier that just tells Vite how to properly import this CSS. And that's really it. That is my website running on Vite. And as you can see, all the performance is the same. You know, it's still working. We got a new puppy here. That's what the puppy looks like. And so I'm very happy with the speed, and I'm very, very happy with the speed on the dev server. So give this a shot in your own Remix repository. See if it's just as easy for you to migrate over to Vite as it was for me. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.